So this is my second video, but I just thought to explain what happened before my stroke. So about 9 years before my actual stroke, I started getting seizures, and that I had a very small micro bleed, they call it, and I didn't think of doing any stroke channels at that stage because I thought, oh, I was told my stroke, if it had to happen, it'll be catastrophic and fatal. So I thought, well, it doesn't help joining a stroke group because I don't need to know anything. But so that's not what happened. So in 2014, I woke up one morning. I was late for work, very unlike me, and I actually rolled out of bed on my husband's side of the bed, and I got up and went straight for a shower. Well, I normally go and have a coffee first and sit on the patio, so everything was out of sync. I, I, when I was in the shower, I dropped the face cloth, and then I thought to myself, well, that's unusual. I thought it was in my hand, but anyhow, and then and then I suddenly felt my leg felt like it had no life. So I thought, okay, I must have a stroke, but like literally half a second later, it was all back to normal. So I thought, okay, well, that doesn't make sense, but I'll just carry on showering. I got out of the shower, totally normal, and I went and went to get the towel off the rack, and my right arm just dropped the towel on the floor. And I thought to myself, another strange thing, but anyhow, I could bend down afterwards and I could do it fine. So when I got dressed, my right arm suddenly was turning inwards. Every time I tried to get dressed, it turned inwards, my right arm. And I thought to myself, well, all these things are pointing towards some kind of stroke or some kind of something. And so once it came back to normal, I was so grateful. I thought to myself, I must be just imagining things. So then I left home, maybe without breakfast, and I drove to work. And on my way to driving to work, my right hand was going berserk. Like I had a lanyard on, I just kept moving the lanyard around. I still thought to myself, anybody driving in front of me would think I'm loony on I've lost the plot somehow, because why would you drive like that and throw things around? So I thought, let me just pull over. And I pulled over, and then it just went away. So I was okay, well, now even more confused. I wasn't far from work. I drove to work, everything was fine. I sent for my first patient, and then while I was scanning her, it suddenly felt, oh, I couldn't press the keyboard. I couldn't press the right name and date of birth and stuff on the keyboard. So I was okay, well, it doesn't matter what key I try to push. I pushed the total opposite key. I thought, okay, well, that's also odd. So then I excused myself from my patient. I made sure she's safe. The cot signs were up, and I went to the bathroom just to relieve myself of. My biggest concern was making a fool of myself at work and not having my having an accident in my trousers or something like that. So once I went to the bathroom, it was all fine. So I thought, okay, well, if it happens again, I'll go and see one of the doctors. So it happened again. My this arm was jumping up and down, like almost like this, like. So I was okay. Well, I got no idea what it is because it's not something I've experienced before, and I've never heard of that before. So I went to the doctor's office and I asked them. I was going to ask them what can they observe, because maybe I'm imagining these things, but luckily they were busy. So I just left the office, carried on scanning the patient, sent the patient away, and I sent for another patient. And by the time that patient got there, I thought to myself, this is definitely real. So I thought I have to go into the office and just tell them, because in case something happens to me, at least somebody knows that something's happening to me. So they sent me, said to me that held me around my back of my arms. So my arm, this arm was like jumping up and down. So I said, can you just can you just tell me it's real or not real? Because maybe I'm thinking it's jumping up and down, but it's not doing it. So they said, yes, it is. I need to go to emergency and let them order a MRI of my brain. So, but I was very reluctant because I can't stand the MRI machine. I'm very petrified. They tried to put me in the MRI machine as a guinea pig for my elbow one day, and I just couldn't cope with it. So I would do anything to avoid MRI. So I just came back to the department, and so they put an MRI form through, but they didn't expect me to. So they probably just go away. So just don't worry about it. But we'll put a film through in any case. So and then it happened more and more frequently. So by the time I definitely thought it was getting worse and worse and more frequent, or shorter space in between the partial seizures. They put me on the MRI next, and then they came and asked me to have an injection, and then they came in afterwards and said that I have got an AVM. I'll show you the pictures later. An AVM in my left side of my brain, right by my motor and sensory cortex. So they said it's not operable because otherwise I'll come out either with hemiplegic like I have now, and I probably wouldn't survive the catastrophic bleed that the AVM would cause. So I thought, okay, well, let's leave it at that. But they did send me for some imaging, which I'll share with you later. And I was transferred to another hospital, a tertiary hospital, just not too far from that hospital. So that's when I was introduced to AVM and stroke. Thank you.